Alright, it's the number 166 of my accountability to myself, and I appreciate everyone's attention who watches this. Today, finally, I will be able to talk properly without being interrupted by my phone because yesterday I figured out I was again interrupted my video just because I didn't have any space in my storage, so my video just was over on its own. So never mind. What I mean is that for some reason YouTube took up 100 gigabytes on my phone. So I fixed that problem and now it's gonna be alright. So today actually I was so disappointed with my day, and in this evening I spent a bit of time to reflect on that and to decide what is going on. Because in the morning I woke up at I woke up really late. It was about 8:20, something like that. And I had my morning routine. I needed to clean a bit my room. And then I went to the gym. I spent a lot of time there because when I came, the bench for bench press was taken. So I was supposed to wait for a while, for like 25 minutes or something like that. Then I did bench press, which also took about 25 minutes, maybe even some longer. And in general, like chest and shoulder day, it's such a long day. A weird workout. I was not satisfied with my bench press because for some reason I could do only 100 for 4 reps for 3 sets and 4 reps each, which is really bad because last time I did 100 for 5 3 sets. Actually I felt that I could go some harder, but it's hard to explain what was the reason for that. But yeah, it was not that good, but the rest of the training surprisingly went better, and I worked with some like heavy weights, and I worked pretty fine. So the only problem, I kind of got sick, and it's so weird because I never get sick, literally. And what is the reason for that? I think it's because yesterday I worked out and I was training my legs. Every time when I train my legs, I'm so sweaty. And after my workout, I was so sweaty. And when on my way home, I felt pretty warm because I just finished my workout. And so I decided that I don't need to take on my jacket, and I went home just having like t-shirt, and that's it. And it was 10 degrees outside, and it's kind of fine, but the problem was that it was so windy, and my way to get from the gym to my home takes about 10 to 12 minutes. And so I think it was enough to get sick because yesterday I didn't really feel it, but tonight I woke up at 4 a.m. because I couldn't sleep. My nose was stuffy, and my throat was also hurting a lot. So I just went to have some tea because I wanted to keep sleeping, but I spent like 20 to 30 minutes at 4 a.m. to make some tea, and yeah, then it was kind of better. But during the whole day I feel some kind of weakness, and by the way, regardless of this weakness, my workout still was decent. Yeah. And what's the problem? The biggest problem, it's not even about long workout, it's not even about being sick, it's about my time allocation. Because I returned home. It was about 1 p.m., something like that. And I have not done anything throughout the day. I don't have I'm not supposed to prepare for my exams because I don't have exams anymore. I don't have anything to study that's related to my university for now. I didn't have any kind of internship assignments today. Literally, I had the whole day that I could finally dedicate to something I want to do. And I just wasted it. I started thinking at like nearly 9 p.m. I started thinking like, bro, what the hell? Like, in what moment something went wrong to that extent that you're just wasting the whole day? Because lately, over the past several weeks, I didn't really have time to reflect on this and to work on something that I want to do or to study something in addition that could bring me, some value, I would say. I didn't really have time for that because I constantly have assignments, I constantly had my classes, and in addition, like, I always worked out and I didn't really have time to, to reflect on what I'm doing, but I couldn't even change it actually back then because I was studying and I was working out and it was taking pretty much all the time. And now I've got some time and I thought about that and I asked myself a question. What are you doing today to be proud of yourself tomorrow? I was literally thinking like I was sitting on this chair and I thought, all right, you've got a whole day, at least 8 hours that you could definitely spend doing something. But for some reason, you have not started doing anything. Why? How is gonna get me closer to something that I wanna get if I don't do anything towards that direction? Because if there's something that can get me closer to what I wanna achieve, why would I escape it? So I started questioning myself. What kind of aims do I have right now? Like realistic aims that I could hit, some goals in like couple of months, maybe 1 month. So it's not something extraordinary. It's something possible, but it's it's a defined aim. I started asking myself, what am I even striving for? Like, what's the reason for that? Because if you have a goal and if you know that you need to do something to get to that goal, and you just need to take action, because no matter what kind of action you take, it's whether helps you to achieve your goal or brings you more information, more knowledge, and more experience. And so anyway, you can get closer to your goal. And I was questioning like why I'm not doing that. What am I even doing? And I realized first, I have too many unnecessary things, distractions, some kind of. music, Instagram, watching this fucking series in French. It takes so much time. I even started using my Instagram more, and not for chatting, but for scrolling. Like I spend 20 to 30 minutes a day, maybe even some more sometimes, which is horrible. That's why I deleted Instagram this evening. I'm not gonna watch series anymore, at least tomorrow and a couple of next days, because I want to think more. Because I don't have answers to a lot of questions. And I think it's a big problem. Because at this point, I feel that I kind of lost. I got lost. I understand what are my long-term goals, but at the same time, I want to accelerate everything because I know that I cannot predict everything. Too many imponderables in this life. All right. And I know that I will be always bestowed upon some unique opportunities that I cannot expect. Therefore, my life is not gonna follow the plan I'm building. But still, it's important to have that plan to follow. And so I have some kind of long term plan. Studying, gaining experience, like working somewhere, like having internship, for example, just gaining some real experience at the same time studying. And after studies, like I also understand that I cannot go to work somewhere, get even more experience to understand how this and that works. Then if I have right people around, or if I have a great idea, I can start creating something on my own. Yeah, so some kind of understanding exists also about, have some kind of desire to talk publicly and in general to be able to provide ideas, because I think it's very important. If you can provide properly your ideas, people are gonna follow you. If people are following you, you can use it to your advantage to create something, which is incredibly nice, right? But if we're talking about the following month, what am I going to do? How can I affect it in my following month? Like currently I have internship, I cannot just drop it because it makes no sense. It will be over in 1 month, and then I will be looking for some other stuff to do, because I want to keep getting some experience, maybe working somewhere, because I find it pretty important. I'm gonna keep studying, obviously, but that's not it. There's lots of stuff that I could do in addition, that I could learn in addition, and that I need to learn in addition. And the problem is that I'm still thinking in terms of shortcut, in terms of something that is gonna bring me success in 6 months, in 3 months. And thinking about that, first, I'm waiting for a perfect moment to start, because, for example, I've got dozens of hours of content to study, not to watch, but to study. And today I didn't spend none of the minutes to literally study that content. Why? Because I don't see how it's gonna bring me some kind of gratification in the following 3 months. But on the other hand, it's really beneficial in the long run. I need more structure because, for example, I didn't schedule my day for today. I think that was one of the problems. I already have schedule for tomorrow morning. I have a sticky note above my phone on the wall, so I can see what I'm gonna do in the morning. But I'm gonna schedule my day some better, I would say, because what actually is gonna work better is when I have detailed structure what I'm gonna do during the day. For example, in the morning I do this and this and that, then I go into the gym, then I return. That's once I return from the gym I can do another thing, then I have my breakfast, then after breakfast I do something else, and so there's a clear structure. It's not like chaos. So probably I'm gonna do that tomorrow. Yeah, but I mean, it's so weird. I need to think more and I need to listen less music. But the problem is that tomorrow Yeet is gonna drop album. Central C is gonna drop album. Chief Keef is gonna drop album. Kanye West is gonna drop album. 4 albums. I don't care about 3 of them. I care only about one, about Yeet's album. So tomorrow I'm gonna be listening to the music 100%. But in general, I need to reduce it. Being ill sucks. Alright, another thing that I wanted to mention yesterday, and by the way, probably I could even finish my idea with having a right person next to you. I remember yesterday I was talking about that, and my phone just interrupted me, right? So what I meant is that there are 2 possible options to have a right person next to you. First, it's your significant other. Incredible leverage. If it's a right person, that's so powerful. I'm not gonna go profoundly into this. And another thing, if there's a great person, like a great friend or something like that, the person who thinks in the same way as you. Because, for example, once I mentioned about 1 + 1 = 11, when we have 2 persons who can contribute as coefficient 1, but when they stuck together, they can contribute as coefficient 11. And for example, I've got in my notes, if we have 0.99 to the power of 365, we are gonna get 0.03. If we have 1.01 to the power of 365, we are gonna get 37.78. Its smallest change is 0.01 change. In first case more, in second case less. But the difference is insane. That's why it's very important. It's actually mentioned why it's 365, because it's about becoming better by 0.01% every day. And at the same time, what's gonna happen to you if you are getting worse by 0.01%. But the same way it works with people. If you stuck, if you as a person can contribute as one, but you stuck with 365 persons whose coefficient is 9.0.99, then in total you have 0.03, because every person drags down another one. So what do I mean by that? If you have a person who thinks in the same way, who also strives for something, you are so interested to communicate with that person, And in my case, I'm getting a desire to work with this person or to create something with this person. And in that moment, I don't want to prove anything to anyone. I just want to flow in this process. Because I just enjoy being next to those people. I feel that it's something that feeds my mind. It's something, some kind of feel, that allows me not just to keep my pace, but to grow, which is incredible. The last thing I want to mention about, streak will make you do no matter what. I convinced about that because of my example with going to the gym. So, as we know, I used to go to the gym every day. Normally, it was like 59 out of 60 days I would come to the gym. So it's nearly, 99% of attendance, And the problem is that once I did skip the gym last Saturday, I managed, for me it was not a big deal to skip the gym on Tuesday. And nowadays, I don't really feel that I'm supposed really to come to the gym 7 days a week. I realized that, 6 times also might be nice. And 5 times is also decent. So previously, my opinion was like having this streak that I was coming to the gym every day. My opinion was, no matter what, I'm coming to the gym, because it's what I'm doing. I'm coming to the gym every day. Once this streak is broken, first I noticed that it still works, and it works fine because I allow my joints, my tendons to recover, which is very important. And at the same time, I don't feel that urge to come to the gym 7 out of 7 days per week. And at the same time, it works with accountability, with all the stuff, because if you're gonna return in January 2026, we can see this kind of accountability. So I was executing a lot of stuff, I was tracking everything. If we're gonna get to this month, we're gonna see this. Nothing. It's almost empty because I don't really track it. That's why I started a new page. Today is the first day was when I started tracking them. And what do I mean by that? As long as I had this. Yes, as long as I had this streak first month, I was checking those boxes every day. Next month, I was checking those boxes every day. Third month that I've already shown you, I was checking boxes every day. At some point, I stopped doing that. And nowadays, I don't return to this process because my streak was interrupted. So I think I don't need to set hard goals like, oh, today if I study French, I need to work with book, I need to break down one video, I need to do shadowing, I need to practice 20 words. That's bullshit. It was so hard to start this process that I'm just postponing, and I'm not starting if I don't have a perfect moment, because I feel like, oh, I have too much stuff, and if I have like 15 minutes to study, it makes no sense because I won't be able to execute even half of that stuff. So it would be way better to have smaller goals, but the ones you can stick to and execute every single day. First, you create habits. Second, you create streak. Once you got your streak and you feel it, you do this no matter what. It becomes your non-negotiable, which is pretty important in my opinion. Oh, by the way, I've got some alright, 3 quotes before I'm gonna finish this video. 3 quotes. You don't need to be great to start. You just have to start to be great. How you act upon the information you obtain defines the person you become. Most people are too cheap with their time, even though they are poor. And the last quote, I was thinking about this for a while because I'm not rich nowadays. I've got a lot of stuff to study, to learn, to do. But at the same time, I'm kind of cheap with my time. That's why I deleted fucking Instagram. Obviously, I'm gonna re-download it in a couple of days, but the idea is that to get rid of this habit of opening Instagram just, every time when I feel like, or just automatically. And also I think when I download, probably I'm not gonna allow Instagram send me notifications. So in this case, I won't be influenced by Instagram. I will be deciding when should I open that app. But I don't know, because sometimes some people reach me out through Instagram and I don't really like ignoring for a long time. Normally it's like 3 days top if I'm not answering for some reason. Alright, sometimes some more, but yeah. Alright, that's it for today. I will try what I've got here. I will try to keep this diary. I will try to schedule my days to execute that. It's 11:20 p.m. and a 30 minutes video, so probably I should finish that. So without being said, that's it for today. Probably mentioned everything that I wanted to say, and I need to look in. I literally need to look in. So see you in the next one.